Only see on 3.
Back in November, we told you Antrice Mitchell filed this complaint with the city against Fahrenheit. In the complaint, she alleges her party was intimidated and harassed from enjoying the full benefit of a place of public accommodation. They were denied their request to sit outside and were asked to leave the public establishment based on her race. While the city continues to investigate, Mitchell has hired attorney Kevin Edwards to help her. He sent this letter to Fahrenheit's lawyers requesting images captured that day in question be preserved.
That video from that day should not be destroyed. It should not be deleted. It should not be misplaced in any manner.
The lawyer claims these pictures of empty seats on the rooftop of Fahrenheit were taken after his client argues her party was denied to sit there. Fahrenheit is now sharing its side of the story. The general manager sent WBTV this statement claiming the statements alleged by the aggrieved party simply are not true. During a completely booked evening, Fahrenheit attempted to accommodate the party's numerous special requests that went above and beyond restaurant policy. This despite the party stating they did not intend to order any food or drinks and simply wanted to enjoy the view of the skyline and eat the cake that they brought with them.
This is a case where my clients feel that they were not judged on their character. They were judged based off of the color of their skin.
As the city of Charlotte continues its investigation, Edwards is trying to research Fahrenheit's policies the restaurant says it was enforcing. Fahrenheit's general manager ends the statement by writing, Fahrenheit has enjoyed serving the Charlotte community for many years and intends to vigorously defend itself against these baseless allegations. The city could complete its investigation by the end of February. In Charlotte, Dedrick Russell, WBTV, on your side tonight.
All right, Dedrick, thank you. All right, we have gone